Welcome to Founders Club, the show for real estate entrepreneurs.
So your finger's always on the digital marketing pulse.
Yeah.
You're speaking all over the world on the topic. So what do you see being really hot right now?
So what do I see being hot right now that people are talking about, or what do I see being hot right now that actually matters?
Let's do both.
Okay. I mean, when I look at the stuff that people are talking about, it seems like everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning. See a lot of people talking about augmented reality. See a lot of people talking about virtual reality and these different things. And I got to tell you, I'm not seeing it. Like, I'm not actually seeing its impact from an
Connecting the
application
dots.
perspective, where I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, but when you look at something like AI and machine learning, for example, which is a really important development. I'm not saying that it isn't a thing or that it won't matter. What we're seeing is it's getting built into the tools that we're already using. So if you're buying Google ads or Facebook ads, or if you're running a CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce, all of these tools have AI and machine learning built into them.
Yeah.
And so what's happening with AI and machine learning, it's not that it doesn't matter, that it isn't important, it's that it's evenly distributed. Everybody's kind of getting it in the tools that they're already using, and so it's not that it doesn't matter, it's that I don't see there being a unique entrepreneurial advantage there.
Right. To going all in on AI.
Right, and yet I hear people say like, oh, what's your AI strategy? And other folks feeling like they have to come up with something because they sound like they're uncool or out of touch if they don't.
Yeah.
And I've been just saying for years, I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Voice search is another one of those things that everybody's talking about. Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a friend of mine, spoke at our event, really hot on voice search. And I'm just not seeing the people I know, like the real live humans that I interact with on a day-to-day basis, doing a lot with voice search. I mean, 9 times out of 10 when I'm using Siri, I didn't mean to, right? I pressed the wrong button, or I did something. So I'm not saying it won't be a thing.
Yeah.
It just isn't a thing now worth doubling down on. And so I guess kind of the big lesson that I have when I talk to people and they say, what's next? I'd be less concerned about what's next and be more interested in what's now.
Yeah.
Marketers feel like they always have to be on the cutting edge, and you just don't.
Wow, that's
You just
interesting.
don't. I absolve you of the responsibility of needing to be on the cutting edge. And I tell people, you need to get more redneck friends. When my redneck friends are interested in something, that's when I'll start to pay attention to it. So what's hot right now that really matters? Instagram. Facebook has been around for a while. Now I say Instagram, people are like, well, obviously.
Yeah.
But look, most of my friends only really got into Instagram in the last couple of years.
Right.
In the last year or so.
And they're probably on it every day.
Yeah, they're on it every day. So look at that, like where they are. So I see like Instagram stories in particular, really, really important, and the ability to present a message sequentially. Like I think about an Instagram story or a Facebook story, and it's very akin to sending out sequential emails. So a sequenced autoresponder type email where on day 1 they get this one, and the next day they get this one, and the next day they get this one. Like we know that sequencing out of messaging can be really, really powerful.
Definitely, yeah.
In the same way, that great movies and soap operas will open loops and go to a commercial break and then come back. Like that could be really powerful. Stories mimic that. And so I think stories is an area where people should really be looking very, very closely at. I think that social and looking at the new social channels, I do believe that TikTok is going to be a thing. So I do. Looking at TikTok, I think that TikTok is going to be a thing. I really didn't feel that way about Snapchat. And I still don't think for most people that a lot of people are like, oh, what's your Snapchat strategy at digital marketer? Double down on Instagram?
Yeah.
Because our people aren't there yet.
Yeah, totally.
We're watching it. It's not that you stick your head in the sand and don't pay any attention, but I'll watch it, I'll monitor, I'll see where it's going, but I'm not going to double down on that as a strategy until my customers are there.
Right.
Until my people are there. If they're not there.
Like Gary Vee went hard on Snapchat.
And look, his business is being on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
He runs an agency who pay him, big brands that pay him because they want to be out on the front edge and they've got the budget to do that. I deal mostly with entrepreneurs, or at least entrepreneurial companies, not massively large brands. If you're a massively large brand, they're going to take, 1% of their budget
Sprinkle it over here, sprinkle it
yeah.
over there.
And so it makes all the sense in the world for him to do that because his customers are there. Now, his customers' customers aren't there.
Right.
But they don't care about that yet, right? That's R&D for them, and that's good. That's what they should do. Let them do that. Let them do that. I don't feel any obligation, but I will tell you, I think TikTok is different. It's one that I would keep an eye on. I would go out there. I'd get your brand, go and lock down your brand on that channel. That's something we're looking at very closely.
How do you see that fitting in? How do you see TikTok fitting in?
TikTok is attracting the next generation just below the Instagram generation.
Okay.
So what you had is, like, we're old, right?
Way old.
And so for us, like, I remember when all the young whippersnappers were on Facebook, and it's like Facebook is stupid, right? And you know, because obviously my career predates Google, you know, so much less like Facebook and Twitter. And I remember when those happened, but it was kind of our generation and the generation older, right? The parents and the grandparents who want to see pics of their kids, they really came onto Facebook, and it's why it grew so quickly. Then you had a bit of a lull for a while. Facebook, Instagram really dominated it. You had Google Plus try to make a run at it. That didn't work.
Away,
Too dominant. Then you had Snapchat come in, and Snapchat really was attractive to that younger demographic.
Yeah.
That really their parents were on Facebook, so Facebook was uncool. But what was happening at about the same time in a bigger way was Instagram. And Instagram was easier to use. It was just a little bit earlier, had a little bit more traction. And so I think kind of that next tier, so all the folks who are, you know, they're adults, but they're maybe a little bit younger than we are, they really see Instagram as their primary platform.
Totally.
The generation
and then Instagram swiped the rug out from Snapchat with integrating
Exactly.
stories.
They
and
did
that
stories.
literally, to me, was like,
That was
I'm
it.
over Snapchat like overnight.
That was it, right? Now what you have is you have TikTok getting the generation just below. So I don't think it's there yet, because all the people who are really hot and bothered by it, they're either on the other channels too, or they have no money, right? Because they're children. But I do think that it will be the next one, because nobody wants to use their parents' media.
Right.
You don't want to listen to your parents' music.
Yeah,
You don't want to do that.
No, that's an interesting
right?
observation.
And what'll wind up happening to the generation below that is Facebook will be retro, and it'll come back around again, right? And that's kind of what you will have. And if you look in most major channels, you have 3 or 4 players. And so I do see TikTok kind of stepping into that area. So I'd encourage people to look at that. But I'll tell you the one big thing that I believe is the big thing right now, and I say it and people laugh at me, email newsletters.
Wow. Definitely wasn't expecting to hear that.
Email newsletters.
The old, trusted standard.
Tried and true email newsletter, which is how I got my start. Like, we called them e-zines. You remember when they're called e-zines?
Oh, yeah.
If you're watching, by the way, and you remember e-zine,
shout out.
you're old, yeah. But what happened is, what killed the e-zine was kind of the blog.
Right.
Because I remember we would send out email newsletters that had content, and we were putting content in people's inboxes. And then blogging happened. And we went, well, this is silly. We can put this content on a blog, on a website. We can blog now. People will be able to find it. It's not just our email subscribers. And so our email list will be there to merely tell people that we posted something on the blog. And so that's just what we did. And we all stopped putting content in our subscribers' inboxes. We started putting notifications, but we stopped putting
Here's a link.
We stopped putting actual content in their inboxes, and we were all, as marketers, we were all collectively rewarded. That decision was rewarded with lower open rates, higher unsubscribes, people bailing out, because there was no value in the medium itself. And we all know, social is about putting content in the feed. If you want to succeed in Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you don't just post stuff telling people to click a link to go somewhere else. You don't do that.
Yeah, why would you?
Right. You need to put the content in the feed. We know that. We relearned that lesson with social. We somehow forgot about it in email. And so what you're seeing is this renaissance of the email newsletter, of this kind of generation that came after. There's theskim.com is a newsletter company.
Okay.
It's a daily newsletter targeted primarily at millennial women. thehustle.co.
Yep.
Yeah, a similar one. Morning Brew. So we're seeing this resurgence and this renaissance of really newsletter-first media companies. And even at digital-first media companies, like Quartz and some of these large, well-funded media companies, they're finding they're getting all their traction for their newsletters. And I think what made all the difference in the world was this, mobile. Because if you think about how you consume email on a mobile device, it's actually quite an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
The text.
Read it at your
is
leisure.
big. Yeah, and unlike a social feed, which is just never ending, so there's no satisfaction, when you get to the bottom of an email, you're done.
It's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good feeling. So when I look at kind of what's new, what's hot, those are kind of the three things I'm looking at. LinkedIn is also kind of like where Facebook was, 5-6 years ago, but it's still more B2B or in professionals. But if you're targeting those, that's a place where organic can work. But
I feel
in general,
like LinkedIn just needs some work on like user friendliness.
They do.
And
But I'll tell you,
user
when they get that
experience.
figured out, more people will be there.
Totally.
So do it right now before you
Right.
get user friendly.
It's a great tip.
But I think if you're really working hard on stories, both Facebook and Instagram, if you're keeping an eye on TikTok, that's kind of more the future, the way off. But I think having a good, solid email strategy. Email is still where most businesses generate their revenue. Nobody talks about it because it's not cool.
It's totally uncool.
It's super uncool. It's just where all the money is made.
Yeah.
So give me uncool.
Hey man, that's a great tip from a legend in the marketing space. So I'll take that all day. What about YouTube ads? How do you see those fitting into the scheme?
Yeah,
of
I mean,
things?
I think now they're critical. So I think for a lot of the people are seeing it as new. We've been running YouTube ads and specifically retargeting ads on YouTube for the last 5-6 years, 4 or 5 years at least, and they're our single highest ROI channel.
Really?
Now we don't get the volume that we get on some of the other ones,
Of course.
but no, I mean YouTube ads, especially for retargeting. Which, if you don't know what that is, that's somebody comes to your website, maybe they view another YouTube video. You're able to drop a tracking pixel via Google and Facebook, and now when somebody goes to YouTube, they're seeing your ad. So it could be for anything.
Yep.
Right. So God help you if you go to trafficandconversionsummit.com. You will.
We're coming for you.
You will start seeing. You will be so sick of me, and I'm going to apologize in advance. But God dang it, they work.
Yeah.
They work really, really, really well.
So do some research. Go to trafficandconversionsummit.com and see what they're up to, because they're very heavy on that.
Yeah.
And I'm always actually really amazed at how cheap it still is in comparison to everything else.
It's because it requires a little bit more work.
Yeah.
Producing a simple social ad is easy.
Right.
Buying a Google AdWords ad is easy. If it's easy, everybody does it. If there's any barrier to entry whatsoever, that's instantly going to remove about 80% of the
now
audience.
you actually have to make a video.
Yeah, weird, right? But it doesn't have to be much, And and really on YouTube, kind of the more intimate, the more personal, the better. This is what we're doing right now, and a lot of times you're filming videos that have multi-camera setups and you're doing cuts. What works best on YouTube is just straight into camera the entire time, never break eye contact. You could shoot in 4K and cut in and cut out, but we got that advice from some other folks who are big on YouTube, like stop doing the really fancy cuts to other cameras.
That's very interesting.
They said just keep it.
Just talk to the person.
Keep it eye contact. Talk to the person.
That's another good tip.
And we did see a nice little bump from that from an engagement perspective.
Love that. So get on your YouTube ads, because that's going to be really important.
To listen to this full Founders Club interview, go to foundersclub.tv.